Hey everyone, welcome back to Colourful Indian. Today is such an exciting day. We're jumping into the second GLAMLITE palette that I got, and I'm so excited because we've got 4 tutorials. We've got the review, the unboxing, the swatches on 2 skin tones as promised. And yeah, I did test out every single shade in this palette, and you're gonna know my thoughts on it. So if you're new here, I want to say welcome. My name is Ranita and I do makeup tutorials, reviews, swatches, sometimes giveaways. I am going to be doing giveaways soon, so keep your eyes open for that. And you should be really excited because the palettes in this giveaway are so awesome. Like, I love them. So now we have the wine palette. I'm going to just open that up here. Right, and we now have this gorgeous palette over here, which is wine. So says best wine over here. Very cute, as you can see. So if you like wine, then you probably are going to be excited about this. I am definitely someone who loves wine. This is the palette over here. As you can see, it's got some beautiful shimmers. So looking at it from here, again, really loving the detail over there. It's just so cute, the wine glasses, and the shimmer shades look pretty interesting. A lot of purple looks from here can be created. So this is Aroma right over here. As you can see, it's a little crumbly, maybe because of how I picked it up, but it's a purple matte shade that you can see. Then this is Napa over here. I like that shade a lot. This is Malbec, a slightly brighter purple shade. And then we have Fine Taste. So I have Sparkling, and then I'm following it up with Earthy, and so on and so forth. Okay, and Concord Grape over here. Oh, so as you can see, the shimmers are just gorgeous. They're definitely very vibrant. So these are the next 4 shades that you can see. I'm really liking these 2 shimmers on my fingers over here. So this one is Magnum, and then after that there's Cabernet Sauvignon. I think that there's a bit of fallout happening over here on my fingers. And then there's Chardonnay over here, just this gorgeous gold color. And right after that we have Fruity. And these are the last 3 shades, and they're all mattes. Pour it up first. You can see this is a bit more of a neon purple, and then we're going into Merlot over here. I really like this color, Merlot. Very pretty. I feel like this actually reminds me the most of wine so far. And then we have Vintage. Right, so this is the, complete swatch of the wine palette. I went in and I just deepened some of those shades because the finger swatches that were initially coming out were not very neat. You can see that a lot of the shades on my arm are purples, and there's one red shade over there. I'm very excited to use these. The shimmers look absolutely gorgeous, and it's really funny because, I just found out that there's a purple wine, the first purple wine ever that's been created. So yeah, very interesting. I'm wondering if she based this on that wine. Not really sure, but it's definitely a very interesting concept. So now what we're going to do is show you a daylight swatch as well as the swatches on another skin tone, and then we'll jump right into the tutorials. Alright, so these are the swatches on 2 different skin tones and natural lighting. So we're going to start with Earthy over here, which is a gorgeous pastel shade, and I'm going to be applying that to the crease of my eyes. So let's just start with that. So I know that my P. base is looking really white today, but that's because I tried something different. I'm just trying to see if I can, improve my makeup skills always. So yeah, decided to try something different today. Okay, so we're gonna apply Earthy right over here to the inner crease of my eyes, and you can already see that it is just so much more vibrant with that P. base at the bottom. This really is the best base that you could ever use when doing your makeup. So I would highly recommend getting one if you can. And I'm using it in shade 0. So I'm just taking that shade and I'm moving back and forth, and I'm going to the inner corner and I'm moving that out towards the middle of my eye, just like this, as you can see. And you can see that the pigment payoff is really beautiful. I'm not experiencing a lot of fallout with this shade. I just think that it's working really well so far. And now that I'm done with that color, I'm taking my cleaning sponge, and I'm just going to do this just to get all that color off, and it's going to just clean up that brush, preparing it for the next color. I highly recommend getting one of these because it's just so convenient, especially when you're on a rush and you don't want to use too many brushes. At the end, it's more or less clean, it's ready to pick up the next color. So I'm going in with Aroma next, which is this really pretty purple over here. So we're just going to put that on our eyelids. So I'm going in, I'm going to be putting it right over here. And you can already see like the kind of pigment that I'm getting. This is just incredible. This looks amazing. So you can see the pigment payoff that I'm getting right now. It is amazing. This is so pigmented, my goodness. And always remember to use a base. It is so important. It makes such a big difference to your makeup, and it's going to keep your makeup in place all day. And yeah, I know my eye looks like a big mess right now, but that's fine because we go back in and we clean it. So yeah, I'm just blending this in. Right, and once that's done, we go in with the next shade, which is the Pinot Noir shade. And I'm gonna just put that over here. And I'm taking it out and just blending that in with the other shade that I applied prior to that. I don't want to cover the entire eyelid. Going in a bit to my crease as well, as you can see right there. And I will clean this up later, so don't worry about that. I just took some of the next shade, which is Napa, on my finger, and I'm going to be going in with that in the inner corners, just trying out the finger techniques since so many artists do this, and you know, the color payoff is amazing. I just love this color. Just look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh, I'm in love. Seriously, GLAMLITE always comes out with such amazing shades. That is just gorgeous. And as you can see, there's absolutely no fallout using the shimmer. There was a little bit of fallout using, you know, the other shade, Pinot Noir, here, as you can see, but so far that's the only fallout I've experienced. It could be that I took too much on my brush. Okay, so this shade is literally butter going over my eyes. It is so beautiful. I love it. It's just gorgeous. I am so grateful that she put a gold shade in here, so I'm just putting a bit of Chardonnay you know, right over here in the center as my highlight, and I'm gonna take a bit of Chardonnay and I'm just gonna put it right over here near my brow bone. I did clean up my eye just now using a wet wipe. So this is what my eyes are looking like so far. I'm going to do my eyeliner, put on my eyelashes, and I'll show you what the final look is like. Look, just using 4 shades from the wine palette, and I have 3 more looks coming up, but first impressions are that the shades that you can see over here, they are really pretty. So I basically stuck to these 4 over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I initially looked at this palette, I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to create. Maybe because it's just very monotone. Not that I have a problem with monotone looks, I think that they're gorgeous. It's just that I was staring at it and I was wondering, what on earth am I going to create with this? But when I actually started using the shades, I started thinking, wow, this is actually really pretty. I like the look that I'm creating right now, and I thought that the mattes were so blendable. The shimmers were just, the shimmer was gorgeous. So I just took a bit on my finger, as you saw in the video, put it on my eyelid, and it just went on like butter. Gorgeous shade. I really liked it. I'm actually wondering if it's kind of similar to the shade from from either the ice cream or the cake palette that I have. I may actually do swatches with my ice cream palette just as a comparison, and I'll also do a comparison with the chocolate martini palette, because I know that there's a purple shade in that palette. So I was very interested that, you know, she's put a chocolate shade in the chocolate martini palette, and then there's this entire palette full of like purples, which is the wine palette, obviously. I think that if you're someone who's starting out it's just a matter of figuring out, you know, how you want something to look. So I generally go for the lightest shades, and then I move into darker shades, and then I try to, like, you know, just mix and match and just see what happens. Because today, again, I was really unprepared, did not know what I wanted to do with this look at all. It was just experimenting and kind of like creating something. I think that this is quite pretty, like what I've created so far. I think it's okay. It's not too bad. But I'm definitely very excited to go into the other shades, especially like, you know, that gold over there and then that red shade over there. I'm wondering, can I create a look from this palette that kind of looks like it's not from this palette? I always think that's the challenge with, you know, interesting palettes like that. So you've probably noticed by now, but I use the P. Louise base for practically all of my looks, and that's this base right over here. So this is in shade 0. I'm actually considering getting the shade that is closer to my skin tone, because when I used to use this base in the past, I would kind of just like put my concealer or my foundation right there near my eyebrows, and then I would take this and then I would actually use a blending sponge to kind of like blend it all together, because that's how I saw you know, a couple of other makeup artists doing their blending. However, apparently this is wrong. And I also thought that, you know, the P. Louise base was a base that needed to have powder put on top of it in order to set it. And apparently, according to the creator herself and, you know, her Instagram account, if you go there, there are all these totally cool tutorials that are just a few seconds, and it makes such a big difference because you're able to learn how to accurately use the products that she's releasing. So I actually found out that you don't need to do this at all. What you need to be doing with the P. Louise base is putting it on your brush, and then you tap it onto, you know, your eye and like all the areas that you want it to go, obviously, until it becomes tacky. It does become sticky. So I actually tried this today. I did the tacky thing. Like I actually just went pat, 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 pat. So she calls it pat, pat, pat. So, you know, yeah, I just went patting like with my brush until the base actually became sticky. And I realized that there was not as much creasing as previously when I just would, you know, apply it and then blend it out with a blending sponge. So I thought this was pretty interesting, and I thought I need to share this information with you guys, especially if you're starting out, you know, doing makeup. It's so important to have a base. It's important to know how to use the base. So I don't know about other bases and how those work, but I know that with the P. Louise base, which I trust, as you can see, you know, from my eyes, just look at the color. This is the color when you use a base. I almost never go out now without a base. Of course, I've been using this base wrong, you know, for quite some time now, but I'm making a correction now because I realized that you do have to pat it in, wait for it to become sticky, and then apply your colors on top of that. And she had put this tutorial up just, I think, a day ago, and I was thinking like, crap, I should have saved it so that I could have put it in this video and you could have kind of seen like what I meant. But the point is that use a base for your makeup, because it makes a huge difference with the color, how your makeup's gonna last throughout the day. So just bear with me. We have 3 more looks to go, and it is going to be fun. Prepare your brushes, your makeup bases, and, you know, I would highly recommend getting one of these sponge thingies, which, you know, I think you've probably seen me using in my chocolate martini video. It is awesome. I love this so much because it has saved the number of brushes that I use during my makeup looks so much. Like previously I would have like 20 brushes lying, you know, on my table, and now I've actually reduced it to about 5 each time I play around with my makeup, which is really good, and it's also less stressful. And, you know, I don't like a lot of stress when I'm doing my makeup, so I like improving the process as much as I can each time I go into a look, reducing the setup time, making it as convenient and easy as possible. I really recommend getting a sponge like this. It is awesome for using makeup. It makes life so much easier. I wish I had this sponge from the very start, but I didn't. So yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, that being said, let's head on to the second tutorial. Right, so the first shade I'm going in with is Magnum, which is this gorgeous purple matte, and I'm just taking it with a smaller brush and I'm putting that in the crease of my eyes, and I'm going down towards the inner corners of my eyes. And as you can see, the color is really creamy. It's blending in really, really well. It's just a beautiful color. And of course I have my base as usual, so we're just gonna kind of get that color there. Just pack it in, and as you can see, there is minimal fallout. I'm not having any fallout at all, like it's not visible if there is any fallout happening. Right, so the next shade that we're going in is Malbec, which is this gorgeous matte purple shade, and it's so pretty and so vivid. I just love this color, and you can see that again, minimal fallout when working with this shade. And I'm just taking the same brush that I cleaned using that sponge, and I'm going from the middle right towards the ends of my eyes, and I'm just blending it in gently with the first shade as well, and I'm creating a round shape above my eyes. So just blend until you're satisfied with the way your eyes are looking. And now I'm going in with Vintage, which is another matte purple. It's a deep purple color, and I just want to build some depth. So I'm putting it there at the end of my eyes in the crease just to get a bit more of depth. And I'm also going to be connecting it there because I want to then use a blending brush and kind of like go outwards later. So this is just to kind of build depth in that crease area before I go in with my shimmer shade. So I hope you can see that this is a darker purple than the one on top. It's bordering on dark blue, I would say, but it looks like a very pretty shade, and I'm just trying to pack that color in there as much as possible. It's a little patchy, I think. And now I'm just going in with Fine Taste, and I'm just blending that out over here on the top. I did add a little bit, and I forgot to press the record button. But yeah, basically I'm just taking that color and I'm blending it out. I think that shape may just remain there, so I may have to just deal with the fact that I'm gonna have that shape there, but that's okay. So I don't know why, but as you can see over there, there are like a couple of patches forming, and even over here, I have gone over it. Like I took more color and I tried to correct it, but yeah, I'm just finding that somehow with the mattes, I'm not really able to get the consistent color payoff that I want over here. So I'm going to try going in again with the same colors, and hopefully it kind of like looks okay by the time I'm done. So now I'm going in using my finger with Chardonnay, which is the only gold shade in the palette. And oh my goodness, just look at that color. It is gorgeous. It really, really is beautiful. It's not like a very yellow gold. It kind of is like a silvery kind of gold. It's definitely not the same as the other two golds from the Chocolate Martini palette. It's a completely different shade. Yeah, but it is so pretty, and yeah, you can see this is what it's doing. It's making my eyes look really pretty. Of course, when you use your fingers, it's gonna be, as you can see, this glitter going, you know, into the top a bit, because yeah, it's not as precise, but I just wanted to try this method, see which one I prefer. I definitely think that I'm leaning towards the brushes at this point because it's just so much neater. Okay, so let's go in with our final shade. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna neaten up my eyes. I really don't like the way that this is looking right now, like those rounds over there, but I may change my mind after eyeliner. But yeah, it's just looking really patchy. Like, even though I've tried to go in and correct that area so many times. So Malbec and Vintage, which are the two shades that I've been using, they are for some reason just becoming really patchy, and I'm not able to get the color like the way I want to get it. And now I'm going in with Sparkling, so I'm just taking my finger and putting that right there in the inner corner of my eye. Yeah, again, I don't know, using my finger is really tough, I think, because I'm just not able to get it as neat as I want it to be. But you can see that the color, it's definitely a beautiful color. It's just that now I have glitter all over the place under my eyes. Not very happy about that. I definitely prefer brushes to the finger method, I really do. I don't think I'm going to be using my finger to pick up pigments again. It's not my thing at all. Yeah, I really like it when my makeup is neat, so I need, you know, a bit more precision than that. So I'm trying to neaten up the look. I took Vintage, and I'm just going to create this V shape that I normally go with because I didn't really like the way the round was looking. And I'm hoping that a bit of that patchiness goes away as well, because I'm not really a big fan of that. But for some reason, again, you can just see that there's that big patch over there. I am really struggling to cover it up. It just keeps reappearing. So initially I had gone in with Malbec, and this is Malbec on my brush, and I'm just trying to like reinstate that color because I thought it was such a pretty color, but I don't know why it's patching over there. So this is the second look. I hope that you like it. I definitely struggled a bit there, but before I jump into that, my lipstick is a Velveteen from Lime Crime plus a Juvia's Place lip gloss, because I don't really have a lot of purple toned lipsticks with me at the moment. Right, so coming back to what I was saying, I definitely was having trouble with the Malbec shade, which is this shade right over here. I don't know if you can see my eyes, but it definitely is still a bit patchy on, you know, either side. I don't know why, but the shade just wasn't working very well for me. So yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there. I definitely, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades for this second look. And I just felt that for some reason that one shade combined with Vintage, which is, you know, the really dark shade right over here, was just not working. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be testing out those 2 shades again. So yes, there will be a repeat. The reason being that I really want to understand what's going on here, if it's just me and my base. But so far the rest were okay. I really love this gold shimmer that you can see here. That is Chardonnay. Stunning, gorgeous gold shimmer. I just love the color. I just feel like it brightens up my face, it brightens up the entire look, and I really love it. So I'm excited about the shimmers, but the mattes, this is the first time I've experienced that, you know, patchy, this is the first time I've experienced that patchy thing going on, you know, with a Glamlite palette. I don't think I've had that experience with their other shades. So yeah, let's jump into tutorial 3 and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we're starting off with tutorial 3. I'm going in with Cabernet Sauvignon, which is this blue purple matte shade, and I'm going to be putting that right over here in the crease of my eyes, and I'm gonna build on that shade. It is definitely the most blue shade that you can find in this palette. It is like a purpley kind of blue, and I'm just packing it right where I want the color to be, and then I'm gonna go later in and blend it out with a lighter shade. And again, I'm using my sponge. It is ready to be used again. Right, and now I'm going back in with Malbec, which is the shade that was being a little patchy. I'm gonna put it right here in the inner corner. I'm using a smaller brush because I do want to go in with more colors. So I'm just applying it here, as you can see. And I don't see the patchiness happening again here. There's definitely, there's fallout, but I'm not seeing that same patchiness that I saw like yet. So I'm thinking, yeah, probably my base must have been problematic yesterday, and I'm just gonna blend that in gently with the first shade because I don't want it to become like purple. I don't want that shade of purple to be, you know, the entire look. I'm just putting Vintage right over here in the corner. It is the darkest shade in the palette. It is the darkest shade in this palette, and I'm hoping for a nice transition of color, moving from that blue shade to this very dark purple. And I'm just taking my time with it because you can easily make a mistake here. And if you feel like you're not getting the payoff of color that you need, what you need to do is just pack it in, because blending is going to distribute the color evenly, but packing is going to give you a saturation of color in the spot that you want it to be in, right? And now to kind of blend out the shades, I'm just going to go in with Fine Taste, which is a very light purple. You saw me use this in the other look, and I'm just going to blend out the edges very gently over here by using a circular motion. So you can see that I'm just kind of blending, just softening those edges with my brush, going round and round and just kind of blending it out. Right, so now that we're done with the matte shades, I'm going to take Chardonnay, which is that gold that I used previously, and I'm going to put it right here in the center of my eyelid, and we're going to kind of like cut the crease with that. So obviously using your finger does put a lot more color here, but I just don't want to get a mess this time, so I'm using my brush. If the color is not coming, okay, yeah, now it's coming. Woohoo! So I guess you just need to dip into it a couple of times. Don't give up if you're not getting color on your brush. What I'm doing right now, I'm just packing it on there instead of blending. Okay. So we're putting it right here in the center, which is where I wanted it, and you're gonna bring it up to your crease, like so. I'm gonna fill in the other two empty spaces with purple shades. And I'm adding it right here in the crease. Oh my goodness, this purple is just absolutely beautiful. I love the way this color looks on my eyelid. It is so beautiful. And I really pressed my brush into the pigment to make sure that I got like a good amount before adding it to my eyelid. So that's just a tip for you if you're using a brush to pick up shimmer shades and it's a little difficult. Press your brush in, apply some pressure, you'll pick up more pigment and it will be easier to actually just slide it onto your eyelid the way I'm doing. Right, so we're over here and I'm just adding Concord Grape again here, like to the end of my eye. And then I'm gonna go over that again with the dark shade that I added, which is Vintage, just to kind of blend the colors in as much as possible. Right, so this is what you can see. If you feel like the gold has kind of like gone somewhere, then you can just go over it with gold. I'm gonna go over it with gold because I feel that the color kind of got pushed to the side because I got so excited with the purple. So now it's kind of come to the side and I want the gold in the center. So I'm gonna just go over that again. So as you can see, I used a variety of, light mattes, dark mattes. I jumped into my shimmers. I had to keep going for that gold. I kind of feel like this palette would be very difficult personally for me to use without that gold in the palette because it just makes such a big difference, like when I'm, searching for colors to pop and blend, because otherwise everything's just monotone and it's just purple. So far my thoughts on the palette are that because it's monotone, I am kind of struggling a bit when I, try to decide what looks I want to do. So right now I want to create a look that makes me feel like I really, really feel like I can't live without this palette. I don't think that I've actually created one yet, but so far the looks that I'm creating are just I guess good for me if I'm going out wearing a purple dress. So stay with me, we have another tutorial coming up. We're going in with Earthy and it's a beautiful light purple matte as you've seen in my other looks. And yeah, there's a bit of foundation on my face because I dropped some and I didn't want to waste it, so I'm just keeping it on my face for the time being. I'm gonna put that there in the crease of my eyes and just move it upwards towards the brow bone as you can see. The reason for this is because this is the final look and we're gonna be using a couple of colors that I still haven't used from the wine palette yet because I do want to see how all of them play out and I want to show all of the options to you as well. Going in again, and as you can see, it's such a beautiful pastel purple and it's just so pretty. Like I can totally see myself wearing this for spring, and yeah, I just really like this color. I love pastel shades. So I just think it works really, really well on my eyes. Right, so I'm gonna be going in with Fine Taste, which is another pretty purple pastel shade, and I just want to put that in the corner of my eyes simply because my dress is more of this color. I'm just taking that and I'm just gonna put her right here. And I'm just gonna blend that in with the first shade. But it's only going to be for the inner corner, and yeah, as you can see there's a lot of fallout happening over there, but I'm going to clean that up. And then I'm going in with Pinot Noir and I'm just putting it right there at the end of my eyes and I'm blending that in a little and tapping as well with my brush, and I'm going to be going in with a deeper color to blend this out after that. So I'm just doing it at the ends because I may actually do a cut crease today. This is not a big blending brush, this is more of a medium-sized one. I'm just taking that color and moving it out towards the end to create a wing, and I'm probably going to be picking up more of the lighter shade on top just to kind of blend that out. But I do want to get a slightly different look today because I feel like every single look I've been creating so far has been very, very purple. I know that the palette's purple, but I do want to get something else today. So I'm just gonna cut my crease and then we will continue. So I'm just taking my P. Louise Acid Rain paint and I've cut out a bit of my cut crease and I'm just neatening it. And this actually takes quite a while. So if you're trying to cut your crease, just go very, very slowly. Right. So I'm just taking that shade and I'm putting it right here at the end, just to kind of like cover a bit of that cut crease. Right, so you can see that this is the color of Merlot. It's kind of like a burgundy red shade, and I'm gonna go in with that and just fill my cut crease. So I'm gonna probably add it here, right near the other shade Pinot Noir, and I'm gonna take it inwards. See how that looks. And I do need to use the shade Fruity as well, so you're probably gonna see that at the ends. So right now I'm just taking color and packing it right in there. Very, very careful as I fill those parts in, because I know that, you know, those are the ends. You don't want to make a mistake. So yeah, you can kind of see the contrast. I know it's a very, very big contrast, but I really, really felt like I needed to use this shade. So you can see that it becomes a dull kind of brown color at the top, maybe because it's mixing with my base, but when I reapply the burgundy again on top, it becomes like a more reddish kind of color. Right, so I've actually gone in and done my eyes, but I don't know if you can see, but it just doesn't look all that great on the ends. Probably because that's where, you know, the base was not applied, so it's kind of also become a little bit patchy over there, and I'm not too happy about that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Vintage, which is that really, really dark purple shade, and I'm just gonna apply it over here just to kind of like try and cover that, because I really, really don't want my eyes to have that like patchy look right there. I'm kind of hoping it covers it up. If it doesn't cover it up, I'm just gonna have to roll with it, you know? Right, so the thing about me is I kept going back for Chardonnay, and I didn't want to do that this time, so I'm going in with Fruity, which is the last shimmer that, you know, I need to use because I haven't actually featured it. So I'm just gonna put that here in my crease. I'm gonna be very, very careful with that. It's a beautiful shimmer. I really love this color. So this is the finished look. As you can see, I went in, I added my eyeliner and my eyelashes, and I have to say that after I actually added all of this, I felt a lot better about the look. I felt like it just lifted the eyeshadow in a way that I needed. So I tried so hard to not dip into Chardonnay, which is that gorgeous, gorgeous gold shade, and I felt like I just had to go back to it. I think I've used Chardonnay in practically every single one of my wine palette looks, just because it is the only neutral shade, you know, it's gold, and I felt like I'm drowning in purples. I know that this is a monochrome palette, but I really, really missed my neutrals. I just felt slightly disappointed that all my looks kind of look the same. So this is the palette after 4 tutorials, and you can see that I've definitely been dipping in there. There are some indents and stuff on here, and it's gotten a little messy, but I really, really tried my best to use all of the shades in here. So, you know, after going through all 4 tutorials, okay, so first of all, I love the shimmers. I think that they're absolutely gorgeous. I know that it's definitely, you know, a bit challenging for me to make completely unique looks with this palette. Maybe because I just didn't feel as inspired, and it's so surprising because I really thought that, you know, this is a beautiful palette. Like, my first impressions when I saw it were, wow, it's gorgeous. And when I started doing my looks the first time itself, I was thinking it's a little challenging to figure out like what shades I want to use when I create these looks. In terms of package design, it's a beautiful, beautiful, you know, product. I think it's creative. It just screams, you know, Giselle, who is the founder of GLAMLITE, and you know, she really is all about food, and she's very, very creative, clearly. Now, from the shades itself, like when you look at this palette, it definitely looks absolutely gorgeous, but I do think that there were a couple of shades that kept looking very similar after I blended them out. The second thing about this was the patchiness. So obviously when you look at my tutorials, you would have seen that there were certain looks that I was just getting patches in, and I really couldn't figure out why. I think what was making it very difficult was you know, just blending it out. And even with this look, I did struggle a little with, you know, just blending these colors out. I felt that there was fallout. There was a lot of fallout for some of these, you know, pigments, especially the ones that I was using in today's look. So I was not very happy with that, but I know that a lot of effort has gone into this palette because, you know, it's her 30th birthday coming up. Like she created this basically for her 30th birthday, which is fantastic. I think it's such a lovely idea. But personally for me, because I like versatility, this palette was not my favorite. I think so far Chocolate Martini is winning for me because I just loved how many looks I could do with it. This particular palette, when I look at my looks, I'm just like, I feel like they all look very, very similar. And I mean, obviously it's gonna look similar because, you know, the shades are all purple. It's a purple palette. But I think something that I personally enjoy is just, you know, the versatility. Like I kind of would have appreciated maybe a couple of neutral tones, you know, maybe another gold, something I could work with, maybe like one or two brown shades, something that I could use to kind of just highlight this, or maybe even a green, because, you know, like I know that she's made the wine palette purple, so I'm assuming that this was because grapes are purple, but I would have loved to have seen green grapes as well. Like, if she had thrown a green into this, I would have been so happy. I would have been very happy to see pinks, because I know that there are slightly like pink wines that you find. You find golden wines. There were so many ways that more colors could have come into this. I do use P. Louise for practically all of my looks, so I'm pretty sure that when you see me blending, you know, my colors and everything, the patchiness is minimal. But for this, for some vague reason, with some of the colors, it was just so patchy. And even though I was trying to build depth, I was trying to go deeper, get that perfect blend, it just wasn't happening. So yeah, that's the reason why I was slightly disappointed with the wine palette. But I am happy with the first two looks that I did. I really enjoyed doing those two because I think those are my favorite. This look that I did, which is the fourth one, I was kind of disappointed because, you know, I was waiting to use Merlot, which is this red shade right over here. And when I finally used it, I just felt that it wasn't working as I wanted it to work. I found it a little challenging to work with this shade as well because I kind of felt like it was turning into a brown. Maybe it's because I had put my P. Louise Acid Rain paint, you know, on top. But the thing is that with other colors, I've noticed that, you know, if I do this, it hasn't really happened that way. That's all that I have to say about the wine palette. It's definitely been interesting working with it. If you want to know my thoughts and, you know, you skip parts of the video, just go back and listen to my tutorials because everything is there. I had fun working with it, but I also had frustration working with it because I was trying so hard to create a look from the palette that didn't necessarily look like it was from the purple palette. And I think for me, I really enjoy creating looks like that sometimes just as a challenge. Like with the I think with the Chocolate Martini palette, one of the looks that I created was so gold toned and it was kind of orange and pink. And when I created that, you know, I was just thinking like, wow, like, you know, you think of Chocolate Martini, you don't really think of this. So I was trying to do that with wine, and unfortunately I was not really able to do that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and you know, I will be back with more reviews for you. I know I have a lot of unboxings to do, so many more palettes to swatch for you. But if you did like this video and if you did find it informative, please hit the subscribe button and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. I always appreciate hearing from my viewers. And thank you once again. I will see you soon for the next GLAMLITE palette review, which will be the Dirty Martini. And if you'd like to know more about the giveaway, it's going to be posted on my Instagram. So make sure that you're following me there too. I will see you guys very soon. Have a fantastic week. Bye.